everybody. It's Michelle Lavore and
Devin Lavore coming at you from a new
place.
Yes.
Did not plan that.
Not
was awesome.
Scripted.
But anyway, we just want to say welcome. We're so glad that you're here. We are excited to share with you guys today just what the Lord has been putting upon our hearts. And
Yes.
so I really am very excited for what God has to say. But we also want to give a huge thank you to everyone who continues to give to us. We appreciate each and every one of you.
This crazy journey we're on.
And so yes, huge thank you to all of you. And we are support based, so if you would like to give to us, you can. We have a PayPal link below, and you can just click that.
Yeah.
So.
And I tell you what, guys, there's a bedroom over there. There's a bedroom over there, and we're sitting in the living room area with the kitchen behind us. And it's a much better deal than what we got before. You know, during the COVID-19, the hotel, you know, when all the hotels were just closed, that was the only hotel that was open, and the deal was amazing. But then it kept climbing and climbing and climbing, and it was just like, okay, you know, and if you watched our last couple videos, you know, the Lord was really moving in all of that. He was like, it's time and all that stuff. Don't need to get into all that, but this is just like a super awesome place, and it fits us. And our transition, I think, was completely done yesterday. Right? That's why we haven't been making videos for the last couple days, because you know you can't be making videos while you're moving.
Yeah.
Unless we're vlogging, and we don't vlog. We don't do that yet. I'm thinking a yet on that one.
Yeah.
But you know, we go on our road trip, we're gonna be vlogging like crazy. But yeah, so the transition was over, and you know, things have kind of settled, because you know, when you go through transition, that can be kind of a tumultuous thing. But at the same time, I think we find ourselves in a place of transition still.
Yeah.
Right? Because like, so listen, this is the deal. You're at the door, the literal door of your miracle, the door of your breakthrough. The Lord is getting ready to transition from like one thing in your life to another thing, and that another thing is going to produce the miracle, right? But even in the midst of that, you're going to have, even at the threshold of the promise being fulfilled, the breakthrough, the miracle, the thing that God Himself is birthing in your life, there will still be two, even at the door, there's still going to be two reports screaming at you, you know, right up to the day of an election, whether you're in the United States or somewhere else. You know, there's always that last little bit of campaign to try to get your vote, you know, and so that's kind of like what we're going to talk about today.
Not the voting, but just what.
No.
Not politics, but
we're not political vote.
Just about what the Lord is speaking to, you know, as we come close to just the breakthrough of the promises that the Lord has spoken, and just how, you know, the enemy, he's going to come in and start saying his own thing. Especially, I think, you know, for us personally, when we've been, you know, transitioning, moving, anybody who's moved, you know that it can be tiring. And even though it's like, we don't even have, like, you know, compared to like a house or something like that, you don't have that much to move, but there's still like just a lot of logistical things and moving, and you get tired, and you're, you know, and so
your soul gets tired. You know?
And so even in
not
that,
just your body,
there is just that sense of like the enemy can come in when you're tired. You know, the enemy loves those spots where you're weak.
Favorite moments
to say, ooh, here, let me come in, and I'm going to throw something out to you and see how you respond to that. And but through it all, God's just been so good, I think, even with the transition, and just like, hey, I'm right here. I just want you to rest. Like, just be assured, like, I am good. And He's been speaking so many awesome things to us. Just
we're only going to share with you one.
Yeah, just
we
such
got like 4 large pizzas. We're just going to give you a slice today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but just such encouragement about just like, this is who the Lord is. We were reading in Revelation, and it was just a Revelation chapter 19, and it was just talking about who God is. He's faithful and true. He's the Word of God. He's, you know, He's the just oh, and he's the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Right. It was really awesome, and that was literally our first God time here, was just the Lord speaking like, this is who I am. Remember who I am.
Come on.
Because the enemy's going to come and say, oh, well, this is who the Lord is, and it's not who God is. You know, he starts to make you question what he did with Adam and Eve in the garden with Eve. He's just like, did God really say? He was attacking the character of God and who God is. Yeah. And so it was really amazing to come here, and literally our first God time, we were all pretty tired. It was a late God time. Yeah. And it was just like, God's like, here, let's go to Revelation and just listen to who I am. I'm saying I'm faithful and true. That was the part that really stuck out to me. It's just like, I'm faithful and true, and that he's the King of Kings and Lord of Lords, and his name is the Word of God. And you know, we've been just seeing so much about just like the Word of God going forth. It was the Word that created all things. It was you know, just that Jesus is the Word, and how he wants us to be married to the Word. And so it was just like, wow, this is so fitting for everything that the Lord is doing. And so even in the transition, and it's like, God just like, I'm right here with you. And so this morning, again, God was really speaking to just really listening to him, not paying attention to anything that is other than him and his word and what he's spoken in regards to miracles over our life, in regards to just anything, you know, even politically speaking. Like, there is just this sense of, you see it all the time, negative reports.
Oh, sure.
But then it's like, even in that, God's saying like, I have my report. Which report are you going to believe? Yeah. You know, what I'm speaking and saying over this time in the world, but also what I'm speaking and saying in this time over your life. Yeah. And it really is a choice to say, okay, what am I going to dwell on? What am I going to think about?
Who are you going to come into agreement with? You know, and when you have that heart that agrees with it, that's what you're going to follow.
Yeah. And so that really kind of brought us into this morning, which was just really awesome. And and Devin he'll really share on that. But also, it's so cool because it's also been paired with this whole time, even just right before we left the other place and coming here, literally almost every day we've had resurrection stories that God has been bringing to our attention. And it has been...
every single day we've been here. When did we get here?
Sunday night.
Sunday, and this is Wednesday. Yeah. Every single day.
Every single day, yeah.
Sometimes twice a day.
Yeah.
It's just been like resurrection.
Yeah, and even like...
even the day before we left. You know, the Lord gave you this story that I will talk about here shortly.
Yeah. And so it's just been so awesome. Like, God's like, this is who I am. And he brings resurrection life. It's like, I want you to know that this is who I am. I'm faithful to my promises. I bring resurrection life. And it's just like, it's almost like on repeat. It's like a repeat cycle. Is. But it's like, God's like, here, I'll show you this story. Okay, now I'm going to come at it this angle. Yep. And how about this angle? I just want you to know, this is who I am. This is what my heart is beating right now. It's like, I am the King of resurrection. I come and bring life. And even stories, you know, you have Lazarus, which we talked about. You have Jairus' daughter. Those are like, have been for us personally very like, okay, these are the stories that the Lord brings up a lot. But then we were also seeing, like, we were talking about the bones of Elijah, and like how he was dead, and a man was put on the bones, and he was raised to life.
A dead man.
And then...
on the dead man's bones.
Yeah. And then
just
how...
as the man who was thrown on the... never mind.
And then also, actually, last night, it was the story of a woman whose son had died, and he was definitely like...
That's Luke 7:11 through 16.
Yeah, and it was an older son. It sounded like he was probably...
he was probably of, like, provider age.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe 20s, 30s, something like that. Yeah. But either way, he had died, and Jesus just happens to be... he's coming towards the gate. They're going out the gate, and he's just like, come, be
just
raised to
resurrects.
life. He just
Yep.
like, all right, come on, and I'm going to give you back to your mom. And it's just like, we haven't, like that story isn't one that we've normally gone to or
No.
anything. And so that's not even a story that we've normally like go to as far as just the Lord highlighting it to us. And it was just so awesome. And we read that last night. And so there's just been this theme this whole time during this transition where God is just speaking like, I am the God of resurrection life. We were, even in worship, we were listening to, basically it was a worship set. It was elevation worship, but they were on, like, I think it was Hope Demand, or I don't know. It was like a special they did.
It was like a podcast type thing that
back
they did
in like April.
Yeah, when COVID was like super heavy.
Yeah.
At that time when everyone was out of work and hotels are closing down and shops are going out of business. And so we were listening to that, but last night we literally listened just to like it was probably the last 20 minutes of it or something. Well, we had listened to the first part the previous night, and we're like, I was like, let's stop here. Mm-hmm. And it was like, okay. And then we listened to the rest. Yeah. And it was like, what a perfect stopping point that was.
But it was so amazing because last night we read the story about Jesus raising to life the son of this widow. And then we go ahead and do worship, and it was just about the blessing of the Lord, and then they sang graves into gardens.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just like, again, here's God saying like, yes, I'm taking the graves and turning them into gardens. I'm bringing life. And so
I'm going to bless you. My favor is going to be upon you. Mm-hmm. 1,000 generations, That number 1,000, it means the number 1,000 prophetic numbers, it means the glory of God, And so just about the glory of God and his presence being upon you and his favor, him with you. And then what is he going to do? Well, okay, that's great that you're going to be with me and do all that in the glory of God. Well, what's that going to do? Oh, well, that's going to turn your grave into a garden. Mm-hmm. That's going to turn your desert into into a wilderness. That's not much done. Your desert into the garden of the Lord. A divine reversing will take place, a reversing of captivity in that day. Don't get me on that. In that day, we've already done that video.
But and so we just had all these great pictures, and then this morning, this is what the Lord was sharing with us, and you want to go ahead and just share?
Oh, sure.
Scripture.
Sure. All right, so it's like, this is a really interesting thing because we'll just get into it, and we'll just kind of like, I'll interrupt a lot. So
it's what you do. It's
welcome to the channel.
Divine inspiration.
That's right. I don't interrupt. I'm divinely inspired. Woo! Someone ought to make a T-shirt. Anyway, so basically, I believe this Jesus is coming from a place where he was healing when he cast the demon legion into the 2,000 pigs, and then he came back across the waters.
And we're in Mark chapter 5.
There you go.
Verse 21.
There you go. It says, and when Jesus had recrossed in the boat to the other side, a great throng gathered about him, and he was at the lake shore. Then one of the rulers of the synagogue came up, Jairus by name, and seeing him, he prostrated himself at his feet, and begged him earnestly, saying, my little daughter is at the point of death. Come and lay your hands on her, so that she may be healed and live. And Jesus went with him. I think that's significant that he didn't say, sure, come on, let's go. He's just like, all right, let's go. He just moved. Mm-hmm. He moved. He prayed, and Jesus moved. Come on now. And Jesus went with him, and a great crowd kept following him and pressed him from all sides, so as almost to suffocate him. Like paparazzi extravaganza right there. Mm-hmm. Just people just crowd around him. And there was a woman who had a flow of blood for 12 years and who had endured much suffering. And we'll just you guys remember this one. We'll just recap this one in a sense of, like, it's the woman with the issue of blood. So here's Jairus. He's coming and he's saying, He's saying, hey man, I know that you can do this. Please come and help. And the Lord's like, sure. But on the way there, Jairus's prayer request gets halted for a second to help out this one lady who had the issue of blood, and she received the healing. Don't have time to get into all that, really. I'm just gonna go to the point here. And yeah, and so Jesus was like, oh, your faith has made you well. Okay, here, let's just go to 5:35. Sound good? Mm-hmm. It says, while the Lord was still speaking to this lady, saying, hey, your faith has made you well. This is, you're trying to encourage her that it was her faith that tapped in to the power that was already within him. While he was still speaking, there came some from the ruler's house who said to Jairus, your daughter has died. Why bother and distress the teacher any further? Basically, it's like, what can he do? It's done. Mm-hmm. It's over with. It's complete. It's kaput. Now here we go. Verse 36. The whole crux of the whole thing that I believe I want to share. Overhearing but ignoring what they said, Jesus said to the ruler of the synagogue, do not be seized with alarm and struck with fear. Only keep on believing. I'm sorry. That's just hilarious, because it's like, no, listen to this. Jesus heard. He didn't ignore. He wasn't like, la, 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 I don't hear you. No, it wasn't like that. See, and it sounds funny sometimes, but I think a lot of times in our Christian walk, that's kind of how we deal with trauma or issues or things like not happening the way we thought. We just go, oh gosh, and we just cave in. Mm-hmm. Within ourselves, and we don't want to deal with it head on for what it is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so Jesus, he's like overhearing but ignoring, meaning he heard what they had to say, which was all based on their own understanding, and it wasn't like what they were saying was wrong or illogical or not right. It was just like, well, she's dead. There's no need to bother him anymore, because you asked for a healing. You can't heal someone who's dead. They're dead. And so that was the report that came to him after he just saw this crazy miracle. So in a sense, you could look at it from Jairus' perspective, like you pointed out this morning. Like that could have been like, wow, yes, I definitely have the right guy. Come on, man, let's hurry up. Let's get to my daughter. And you know what I mean? He could, either way, he was just probably jazzed to see it, because they were all amazed. They were like, whoa. This is amazing. Yeah. Yes, you're going to do that for my daughter. Yes, thank you. Ooh, your faith. You ever have that happen? Your faith is just, oh yes, the Lord is moving. This is great. This is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. And then someone comes with a report that just knocks you out. Mm-hmm. A report that just crushes your faith. Just elbows your faith right in the kisser. You know what I'm saying? And you're like, and now you're down and out. Mm-hmm. But the Lord's like, okay, I hear what you're saying. Everything that they're saying, I get all that. I get it. I understand. It's earthly wisdom. Don't have time to get on into that. Just listen to me. Don't listen to what they're saying. Don't be afraid. You ask me to do a thing, I'm going to do a thing. But Lord, she's dead. How can you heal something that's dead? Don't worry about that. Listen to me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Listen to what I'm saying. He says, only keep on believing. Only keep on believing. So what does Jairus do? He's like, no, never mind. It's fine. I'm just going to go back to my life. No, he's just like, okay, I'm going to keep on believing. Mm-hmm. It says, and he permitted no one, Jesus, he had permitted no one to accompany him except Peter, James, and John, the brother of James. When they arrived at the house of the ruler of the synagogue. Now see, there you go. That lets you know that Jairus continued to believe. He didn't confess. He didn't pray. He didn't declare. He didn't do all those things. He just listened to the Lord and was just like, only keep on believing. Okay, well, let's just keep on going to my house then. Mm-hmm. That was his expression of his faith. That was the act of his faith, was just to follow. It says Jesus, looked carefully and with understanding at the tumult and the people weeping and wailing loudly. They're professional wailers. Mm-hmm. They're just, whoa, weeping and stuff because someone died. And they don't really have any, but anyway, I'm not going to go there. Forget what I was going to say, that you don't even know what I was going to say. So never mind. And when he had gone in, he said to them, why do you make an uproar and weep? the little girl is not dead, but is sleeping. And they laughed and jeered at him. But he put them all out, and taking the child's father and mother and those who were with him, he went in where the little girl was lying. Gripping her firmly by the hand, he said to her this 2-word phrase that I'm not even going to attempt, which translated is, "Little girl, I say to you, arise from the sleep of death!" Exclamation point. It's the same thing he said to the son who was dead. He's like, "Hey, guy, wake up. Not time for you to go. Come out of Abraham's bosom. Sorry, it was just a visitation." And so this is the part that I want to show. Like, listen, he was excited to see this miracle that just happened to this lady with the issue of blood. And then, he got hit with a little report that wasn't demonic in nature or anything like that. It was just the reality of the situation. We're all dealing with the reality of a situation. But he overcame that because he heard from the Lord. The Lord interrupted. It's funny because Jairus didn't even ask the Lord, well, what do we do now? The Lord overheard and he interrupted and said, no, don't listen to that. See, that's relationship right there. If you're always having to be the one to come to the Lord and get the relationship going, there's something wrong there. And that's kind of what a religious spirit does. It creates a performance in us that makes us have to constantly be doing it. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting, and God's like, you don't have to do that. That's not relationship. Relationship is, I initiate a lot of things too, And so he felt bummed out by the negative report that his daughter died, but the Lord is saying, don't, just keep on believing. So, okay, so now he's up. And now they're literally at the threshold. This is the whole thing right here. They're literally at the threshold of Jesus coming in and doing the thing that he wanted to do, or that he was asked to do, that Jesus came to do. And right in that moment, it says, and they laughed and jeered at him. Now listen, how are you going to go from weeping and wailing to laughing and jeering? We looked up that word jeering. It means to mock and ridicule and just, no, you're wrong. A lot of the junk we get on our YouTube channel, honestly, is mocking and jeering at us. Saying when we deal with any kind of negativity in association with our channel, that's exactly what it is. It's not constructive. There's a difference between constructive criticism or laying out the facts, which is what the first report was. It was like, she's dead. That's just I'm sorry, man. There's a genuine grief for the situation. But in this case, these people are weeping and wailing loudly. It's almost like kind of they're advertising. They're kind of overdoing it. It's dramatic acting or something, and then all of a sudden they go from that to jeering and laughing at Jesus. That is a demonic thing right there. I don't know how much time I have to get into it to explain why I believe that. But when you go from weeping and grieving for the death of someone to laughing and ridiculing and criticizing someone, that is a manifestation of the demonic, just like what happened to Peter. Oh Lord, surely this shouldn't happen to you. Get behind me, Satan. He didn't say get behind me, Peter. He's like, get behind me, Satan. I know what's influencing this word coming from you. And that was one of his closest buddies. You know what I'm saying? And so they laughed and jeered at him. So I'm saying, like, look at that. Like, right at the threshold of Jesus getting ready to go in, because he put them all out. He's like, no, you're just going to have to be put out. Now notice that Jesus took charge of that situation as well and said, no, we're putting all this out. No. Because I don't want anything interrupting the faith here. I don't want anything interrupting the miracle. And because you're laughing and jeering at it, you don't get to see it. Bye. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and so even the Lord took charge of that as well. It's just so awesome. He is the Lord. He's a good shepherd. He's a good father. He takes care of his people. And so don't be surprised that even if you're at the very threshold of your miracle, to find that the enemy is right there attacking you in any way he can. You know what I mean? Look at the story of Nehemiah. From the moment he started laying the first stone to the time it was finished, Sanballat and Tobiah just kept hammering, So it's like, so we've finished this transition that we've gone through, but in the midst of the transition, I mean, the enemy has just been basically laughing and jeering at us, right? It's just been coming and like, just a sense of like a strong wind of doubt, or, oh no, I don't have any peace, we shouldn't have moved, or and the kids acting up, and because that's going to be a natural occurrence just from transition. But the enemy gets in there and starts flapping his wings and fanning the flame, and it becomes this like, and you reckon, I'm like, wow, like even in the midst of like if we consider this our delivery room, this is going to be the room where God delivers things. And it's like, okay, here we go. This is the delivery room. Here's the enemy. But didn't the Lord say, notice, didn't the Lord say to wait in the other room until you receive the promise from the Father? Yeah, but you didn't do that, did you? You know what I'm saying? That was one of the things that was hitting us. It was just like, and it's like, it was almost like the temptation in the wilderness. It's like, yeah, the Lord did say that, but wasn't it? So here's my response. But wasn't it also the same Spirit of God that said, come on, it's time, let's go? Like, that's like, if the promise from the Father is, okay, it's time, let's go. Well, the same Spirit that led us there, the same Spirit that kept us there, is the same Spirit that's leading us out of there. So he who made the promise is faithful and true to his word, and he will fulfill his word. And then that's where the enemy goes, it's like, oh, well, hold on. Now I got one for you. It's like, didn't Jesus say that this illness will not end in death? The same person that said this will not end in death is the same person that said to his disciples, Lazarus is dead. This came out of the same mouth. Like, what's up with that? How is it? Well, because the Lord's definition of the end of a thing is different than our definition. So Jairus here found out about as well. And the lady who lost her son, and basically she was literally widowed and kind of orphaned in a sense. You know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm not going to leave you like that. I'm going to show you my heart right now. Death, I'm going to show you my heart in that I will overcome death. I'm not trying to say, ooh, look at me, I can conquer death. Yes. No, that's not really what he's trying to show there. He's trying to say, like, no, you want your son back here. Have the desire of your heart. Here you go. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, from the same mouth, the Lord took us to the other place. And from the same mouth, he said, it's time, and now we're moving. If you're going to have a baby, the Lord might say, stay here until things break, and it's like, whoa, it's time. Okay, well then it's time. You got to go to the hospital. You got to move to a different place where you can have the delivery of things happen, the delivery of the baby happen. And so in the midst of all of that, that's just one example. That's just the enemy's just, so it's like when you're at the threshold of a promise, you think, here's another example. Jesus, he passed the test in the wilderness. And in Luke's gospel, I believe it says when he passed the test, then the angels came and ministered to him. And it says, and so the enemy withdrew from him until a more appropriate opportunity came up. See, you think, oh, he passed the test in the wilderness, he's free, he's safe, he's good, he's not going to get hit by the enemy again. No, he's just going to wait for another moment. He's just going to wait for another opportunity. Even in the midst of you getting your promise, even when Isaiah, who's sleeping right there, that's what I'm pointing to, he was born, and within how long after he's born?
Days.
Within 4 days after he's born, the sign of the promise is born. I don't know why I did the bunny ears there, but anyway, the sign of the promise is born, because he's a sign of the promise. But the sign of the promise is born, and the enemy comes to attack his name.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you need to change his name. Is his name... The enemy always comes with a question. Does his name really need to be Isaiah? I don't know about that.
I don't think he looks
I don't
like
know
an
about
Isaiah.
that. I don't know if I have a peace about that. And it's like, hush, his name's Isaiah. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had the roof of my mouth stuck like this for 6 months. No, I'm just kidding. for 10 months for no reason. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so it's like when you're at the threshold of a promise being fulfilled, you find two things happening. You find two reports. One from the enemy, one from your soul, that stirs up your soul, stirs up fears. You basically you find a report from the darkness that might inspire darkness, and you will find a report from the light that inspires faith and more light and truth. And you want to be found just believing the report of the Lord. You want to be found being led by the Spirit. The same one who said it will not end in death is also the same person who said he's dead. It's like, well, that's confusing. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to trust the Lord. You've got to trust the Lord. See, there is a like video games, of old school video games when I grew up in the 80s, they always had these levels, right? Not every game has that. They have a semblance of that sometimes depending on the video game, but they had these different levels you had to go up. And I think there's this one level that you have to get to just before you get to what they call the boss level. And then once you beat that, you beat the game, right? Yeah. And I believe there is a level that you get to, I think, just work with me here, before you get to that boss level, that promise level. And that is, I think sometimes, I'm not saying that this is the way God does things all the time, but I'm saying this can be a thing that happens where the Lord, because he's always about relationship and making it about relationship. But a lot of times we can get so fixated on the thing that God has promised us that becomes the thing that our life is about. That promise, that thing, and we've lost sight of it's like that. I think that's what happened, and you lose sight of relationship with the Lord. And I think that's what happened to one of the churches in Revelation. It says, I know your works and your deeds and all these great things you've done, but that's become your life. You've lost your first love. You fell away from your first love. Come back to the first love, which is really just it's about relationship with me. It's like, all right, Michelle, we're married. This is so great. This is so amazing. And now we have these kids, and we have this, this thriving business, and we're making millions of dollars a year, and we have this thing, and we have this thing, and we have this thing. And before you know it, that's literally what our whole relationship is about. Kids and all this stuff. And it's just not about us. And even though we are together and we're doing this stuff together, that's not really what it's all about. So if you took all of that stuff away, you'd be miserable. And the Lord's like, I don't want that to happen to you. So it's like, I want to maybe take you through this thing where you realize it's really just about relationship with me and walking into what God has. And in that state, in that place of heart, anything can happen. Anything can go wrong or seem to go wrong, and you won't care. I mean, you will. It'll affect you. I mean, we all grow in our relationship with the Lord, because there's things that do crush us. But then the Lord's there to pick us up and say, why do you need to be crushed? Do you not remember what I told you? Remember my word. It's like, oh, yeah, well, thank you. That's why they call you Savior, because if you didn't come to save me, I would have just stayed crushed. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And God's like, my plan hasn't changed. I mean, the way the Lord speaks to us hasn't changed at all. He's just given us so much cool stuff, the resurrection thing and everything. And it's like, so don't be surprised. If as things begin to develop, maybe they look different, which chances are you're in the right place. If things don't look the way you thought, well, then you must be following the Lord. But it's like the word of the Lord to you is sure. It's not going to fail, because he who gave the word is not going to fail. And if the Lord says it's time, then it's time. If the Lord says I'm going to be delivering you, then he's going to be delivering you. If the Lord says, hey, Simeon, you're not going to die until you see the Lord's anointed. Okay, cool. Well, maybe Simeon was expecting to see what Jesus eventually became. Maybe he wasn't expecting to see a baby. But then when he saw it, he had heart enough and spirit enough and relationship with the Lord to appreciate what he actually saw. Like, oh, this is what you meant. Okay, this is amazing. Oh, I can depart in peace. This is amazing. You really did. This is the one. He's going to grow up to be the salvation of. This is amazing. dang, this is going to be so awesome. See? So it's like when you have a relationship with the Lord, you can just receive, you're just walking with the Lord and you get to see what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You get to see how he delivers and his way. But in the midst of that, you'll be right on the threshold of the breakthrough and the promise, and here comes the enemy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you got to decide to be like Jesus. You want to be like Jesus? Listen up. It says overhearing but ignoring what they said. You've got to, you can overhear it. You're going to hear this stuff. You're going to maybe sense this stuff, maybe even be impacted by this stuff, but you're like, okay, got it. I'm ignoring all of it. That's what we've had to do for the past couple days. Like, I hear it, I'm feeling it, I'm sensing it. Ooh, man, but I'm going to ignore it. Lord, what do you have to say? You know? Mm-hmm. Can you share what you got this morning from the Lord regarding the rest? Or do you not want to do that?
No, I could do that. Yeah, so this morning for me personally, like the Lord was really just, you're just sharing with me. Because I was asking him, I was just like, Lord, what... Okay, we're in this new place, and, you know, like, what is it that you want? You know, like, what can I give you kind of thing? And I just really felt like the Lord was just saying, like, I want you to be in a place of rest. To have my heart in a place where it's like, again, the Lord's like, I'm taking care of this. You know, I think with Jairus, that's what he was doing. The Lord's like, don't be alarmed. You know, don't let your heart go to these places of worry and fear and terror and all of that. It's like, just trust me. And when you're trusting the Lord, he's like, I'm leading. I'm going to take care of all those things. Just if you're listening to me and just following me, you can be at peace in your heart. And so I just really felt like that this morning, that God was just saying, hey, just be at rest, be at peace with everything. That's just what I want you to do. And for me, it really just, I think it really put my heart at rest. Because, you know, sometimes we start to carry a weight that we didn't realize we were carrying, and that the Lord is just like, I don't even want you to have that weight. And for me, it was just this weight of like, okay, we're in the new place, like, all right, we really, you know, the enemy's swirling and doing all this, and it's like, okay, I gotta really go after things, even though, like, you know, especially, it's like, you know, it's been hard to get good sleep the last few nights, and just
anytime you're transitioning from one thing to another, it's just different. And sleeping in different beds and different situations,
And so it's just like, you're tired physically, but then it's like, that can affect just, you know, your soul and all of that. And so it was just this sense of like, okay, all right, well, maybe I need to, like, just really need to dive in and really go after this, and like a sense of, you know, trying to go after the Lord. But it was more of just like, God's like, no, you don't need to do that. I just want you to know I'm here. I'm taking care of it. You can just rest and wait. And it just, like, even now, it just reminds me of with, like, Boaz and Ruth, where Boaz, he went and took care of everything. He went to the city gate. He was like, all right, he did all of the, you know, transactions, and then he just came and got Ruth. And in a sense,
he did everything.
He did. And
because he had the power to do it.
Yeah. And even here with Jairus and his daughter, it's like the Lord's like, just follow me. Like, just
keep on believing.
Believing.
Yeah.
Listen to what I'm saying. Just, you know, walk
you got
with
these
me.
people at the threshold of your door laughing and jeering at me? Well, let me take care of that, because they're laughing and jeering at me, not you. So go on out. Bye. See ya. Don't let the door hit you where I split you. So go on. Bye. See ya. You can't be a part of this. You know.
Yes.
Because he was the good Lord. So.
No, but just that sense, like, that God is just like, hey, don't worry about things. I'm taking care of things. I've got you in this. And he really has just been such an encouragement this whole time, because, you know, the Lord knows what
Very
we need.
Much needed.
You know, he's not, so much of our journey, especially during, the 40 weeks and all of that, has been development and has been a lot of, let's work on your heart. Let's address these issues. A lot of 444 moments and things like that. And it's
just had one this morning.
And
it's like a snack in our family. Here, guys, have some heart exposure. Oh, thank you. Oh, it's bitter, but it's sweet later. Thanks.
Yeah, but I just think but at the same time, the Lord, at least for me, and maybe even for you, it's been more of let me just encourage you guys. He really hasn't been hammering, I think, with the exposure. It's more of just like, hey, I know you're going through transition. I'm just here for you to comfort you. And it very much is like with labor and having children. There's that time when it's called transition. Yeah. And it's usually just like your body itself is just going through just so much at that time. It's, I mean, it varies for everybody, but for some women, like you can get sick, you can like pass out, like it can be pretty difficult on your body. And so it's just during that time, like that's usually when it's like you need the most just like encouragement and help and just like
transition's
that
hard.
Assistance of just like, okay, you're gonna be okay, you're gonna make it, this is, you're in transition, like this is actually a good thing because it means you're so close, you're getting to the end of this process. And
you're about to have a baby.
Yeah, and so I just feel like for us in this transition, it really kind of has been that where God is just like, I'm encouraging. You're doing good. Come on, just keep going. Like yes, the baby is coming. Like, believe me, this is who I am. I have your hearts. I'm right here with you.
Yeah.
And I think that's really been a huge part of it too, is God's like, I'm right here with you. It really isn't it really is just like Jairus, because I think it's like God was right there with him. And so it's like, that's what the word is. He's like, I am right here with you. I'm not leaving you. Like, I will take care of everything. Just keep believing, trust me in this process, and you are going to see the deliverance. You are going to see the promises fulfilled. You're going to see resurrection.
The glory of God.
Exactly. You're going to see all of those things. So just keep close to me during this time. And so that's really what, for me, like the Lord has just been really speaking. It's just like
resting.
Be at rest and really just keep my ear to him and just know like he's right here to say, bring encouragement, to continue to just say like, this is who I am. Remember who I am. And
I will reveal myself.
Yeah.
I will show myself. He said that to us the other morning. It was a very strong message. Like, hey, I'm going to reveal myself. I'm going to show myself. And I was just like, wow, that's awesome. So, yeah, we could go on forever.
Yeah.
Just over the last couple of days of Revelation,
Well, that's all that we have for you guys today. We do want to just also say thank you to those of you who've been praying for us during this time of transitioning from one place to another. We just so appreciate all of you. And again, I just, it's so awesome to be just encouraged by so many of you. We
try to get to the emails as much as we can.
Yeah.
We have 4 children, so give us. And besides, if they're long emails, it doesn't matter. She will take those.
Yeah.
She loves it. She's like, ooh, let me read that one. I'm like, girl, that email's like 4 sentences. You take it.
Yeah.
Am I right? I'm just being honest. I'm like, wow, that's a long email. But some of them are really long.
Yeah.
And so, but I'm just saying, like, for those of you who send the long emails, she does read them.
Yeah.
They already read, and then she gives me the Cliff's Notes of it. It's like, oh, she was saying this and this. Oh, that's really cool. So I can, she's a long distance runner. I'm a sprinter.
He's a sprinter.
Give me the 100 meters. That's about it. 200 meters. That's too much. That's too much for me. And back in high school, I was like the 50-yard dash guy. I was like, oh yeah, I could do that. I'm done. I'm
Yeah.
done. I'm sprinted. Where it comes to research, comes to just about anything. I'm like,
Yeah, it's like, you take care of it.
Yeah.
Yes. You're the long distance runner.
You are. I remember when we first started dating. It was so
It was,
hilarious.
bless your heart. I was running and I was training for a race, and Devin, he was like, I'll go running with you.
Because I wanted to be with my wife. I was like, oh, this girl, I think this is the Lord's bringing us together.
So
Maybe he's going to make me a runner.
And so
What, I get about like a block and a half?
I know. It was so funny. And I was like, oh, okay, you're done? Well, I got to keep training, so I'll just go. And so I just kept running.
I'll catch up with you.
And then I came back around.
Bring me some oxygen.
And then we just had to I think we kind of jogged back down the hill. But oh my gosh.
You went around this big old thing.
I
You
know.
had this whole thing. I just stopped right there. I was
Yeah.
like, I can see. I'm just going to stop. I can see her.
Yeah.
If someone
just
comes
wait.
up on her, I'll book it to it or something. I don't know if something did happen. By the time I got there, I'd be winded. I don't know how much protection I could offer, but whatever. I'll be standing here waiting for you.
It was so funny. So funny. And I was like, yeah, you're not a runner.
I'm not.
But my heart was just like, oh, he doesn't even run, but he would go running with me. I love it.
I don't even like running. I'm just like, no.
But never again after that.
But I did.
Nope.
No. That was a one-off.
You're like, I'll just watch you run. That's good enough for me.
From the car, I'll follow you behind in the car going 2 miles an hour.
But
Like,
it was
forget this
awesome.
mess. All that to say, we do read even the long emails.
Yes. But yeah, so thank you to all of you for everything that you've sent, all your words of encouragement, and your prayers. So we just pray that you guys are blessed by this, and to just know God is right here. He's helping all of us through, whatever promises the Lord is birthing in your life. He is there to bring it, to have it come to pass.
Keep on believing.
And just know that He's the one that's birthing the promise.
And
not
He's
you.
the one taking care of the wicked reports.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm going to encourage you, but I'm also going to get those reporters out.
Yeah.
So that you can go into your promise. You can receive the thing that your heart is pining for. And I tell you what, our whole family is pining. I can almost start weeping thinking about it. But our whole family is pining for, it's funny, the things that we're pining for are things that most people have, and you know what I mean, already. But it's like the Lord's just taken us through this process and invested so much value in what we're doing and what He's doing through us. And it's like, it's not even about financial increase or a home. It's more than that. It's that's just the framework of what He's setting up for generations, for our family tree. He's going to take our family, scooped us up out of that cave in the mountain, and He's going to plant us in a land where we can spread out for generations. He's going to plant our family tree in a land, literal land, but also the land of Nashville, and we're going to spread out into different directions for the glory of God and for His purposes. We can get off into that, but there you go.
Yeah. So,
are we going to end this video?
I don't think
know. So let me turn to this scripture. No, I'm just kidding.
Go grab your favorite treat and sit down for a while.
And in conclusion, oh Lord.
But God is so good in just what He does and how He moves in our lives. And so we just pray that you guys are blessed by what the Lord has to share today. And, just again, I don't even know how to end it. I feel like my heart just wants to go on. But just keep on believing.
That's the heart that just wants to keep on believing. You're chugging,
So guys, we just really love you and appreciate all of you. And until next time, we will see you later.
Bye guys. Love you.
Bye.